If you want to get on Wall Street, you need the resume, the grit, the math that makes your head hurt, and the ego that makes everyone else's head hurt. You need to speak the language of capital and carry yourself like someone who knows how to bend numbers and navigate sharks without trembling. If you want to serve as a doctor for Doctors Without Borders, you don't just show up with a stethoscope and vibes. No, you must be fearless, disciplined, self-sacrificing, skilled, trained, and able to withstand the heat, the dust, the disease, the heartbreak, and the weight of entire villages praying you know what to do next. We recognize this for every earthly calling. We respect it. No one argues it. No one calls it unfair. Why do people suddenly lose their minds when it comes to heaven? You don't lose free will in heaven. You don't lose your character at the gate. And God isn't confused about that. If your whole life was dedicated to greed, cruelty, dishonesty, manipulation, pride, arrogance, violence, envy, entitlement, if the 7 deadly sins are the only muscles you ever bothered to train, why are you shocked when God says, "This isn't who you became. You perfected the skill set for another kingdom"? It's not punishment. It's placement. If you spent 70 years sharpening hell's tools, why would heaven be your natural environment? Why would you want to live in a place built on virtues you mocked your whole life? Why would God force you into a kingdom you actively rejected? Develop the fruits of the Spirit. Grow love. Grow humility. Grow patience. Grow gentleness, kindness, self-control, mercy, and compassion. Grow godliness, sacrifice, holiness, consciousness, servant leadership. These weren't suggestions. They were qualifications. Yet people treat them like chores. They want to be the top G, the winner, the loudest in the room, the most feared, the most dominant, and then look at God like, "Wait, what do you mean I can't come in?" Brother, sister, you didn't even want heaven. You wanted applause. You wanted power. You wanted revenge. You wanted comfort. You wanted to serve yourself. You wanted to bow to your impulses, not God. At what point exactly was God unclear? When Jesus said, "Blessed are the meek, blessed are the peacemakers, blessed are the pure in heart. Love your enemies, lay down your life for others. What you do for the least of these, you do for me." People aren't offended because God is unfair. They're offended because God is consistent. Because heaven is built on virtues they never bothered to grow. Because eternity exposes the truth. Your soul becomes whatever you practiced when you thought no one was watching. And some people have been training for heaven, quietly, faithfully, sacrificially, while others have been training for hell and calling it success. At the end of the day, God isn't rejecting anyone. God is simply honoring what you spent your entire life becoming.